Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Book Notification Podcast, your go-to source for this week's new book releases. Today, we're looking at the week from June 1st to the 7th. With over 500 new books releasing this week, there is no way we can cover them all. Visit booknotification.com to explore the full list of this week's new books. You can also follow your favorite authors, so you'll be the first to know when their next book is available. As always, we have 10 books to highlight with a little something for everybody. Let's get into it. Land is the latest novel by Maggie O'Farrell, the award-winning best-selling author of Hamnet and The Marriage Portrait. Set in Ireland, 1865, the story follows Tomas and his young son Liam as they work on the Ordnance Survey, a project to map the entire country in the aftermath of the Great Famine. Tomas is determined that his maps preserve evidence of the devastation and loss that many would rather forget. While working on a remote Atlantic peninsula, he experiences a mysterious encounter that profoundly alters him, leaving Liam to grapple with his father's sudden transformation. As British officials await the completion of the survey, Liam must try to understand what happened and find a way to finish the work and bring them home. Land will be released on June 2nd. The Savage and the Crown is the first book in the lit RPG series Barbarian Awakening by Hikaru Genji and the Veiled Man. Thorvin Valteria finds himself stranded in a fantasy world after purchasing a supposedly haunted house on Earth. Living among a tribal society on a volcanic island, he is regarded with suspicion because of his unusual appearance and possesses a rare ability that allows him to absorb powers from creatures he kills through a mysterious realm known as the Great World. As he allies with a barbarian princess and an exiled queen, Thorvin becomes entangled in larger political conflicts while trying to understand why he was brought to this world and why the governing system appears determined to erase him. The Savage and the Crown will be released on June 6th. Save Scumming is the first in a new series by RavensDagger. After dying during the catastrophic fall of Fortress ENE, one of the last major safe cities in North America, the protagonist finds himself sent back 9 months before the disaster. Armed with knowledge of the city's future destruction and a unique ability to create save points and repeatedly rewind time, they set out to uncover who engineered the breach that unleashed millions of monsters. Starting over with little more than their previous life, a job opportunity, and their cat, they must use repeated timelines to gather information, build strength, and prevent the future catastrophe. Save Scumming will be released on June 1st. Blood Moon Marked is a post-apocalyptic survival romantasy by Lacey Davis. In a post-apocalyptic world overrun by monsters, Michaela Walker has spent her life focused on survival. Everything changes when a mysterious blood moon marks her, drawing the attention of powerful enemies and entangling her in a dangerous, supernatural politics. Pursued by those who seek to control or exploit her newfound significance, she must uncover the truth behind her connection to the blood moon. Along the way, she forms uneasy alliances with Cade Thorne, a skilled archer searching for his missing sister, and Brygon Draven, a dragon shifter convinced that Michaela's fate is tied to a larger destiny. As dark magic spreads and conflicts between supernatural factions intensify, Michaela finds herself at the center of a struggle involving vampires, dragons, and forces that could reshape their world. Blood Moon Marked will be released on June 5th. The Probability of Murder is the latest from New York Times bestselling author J.D. Barker and Patrick Logan. When mathematics professor Ivy Reeves discovers a note bearing her name at a murder scene, she becomes involved in the investigation of a serial killer who leaves behind complex mathematical puzzles connected to each crime. Working alongside Detective Vaughn Ryan, Ivy uses her expertise to decipher the clues and identify future targets. As the investigation progresses, it becomes clear that the killer has detailed knowledge of Ivy's personal history, including traumatic events from her past, turning the case into a deeply personal confrontation as they race to prevent further murders. The Probability of Murder will be released on June 2nd. Liar Liar is the first in the Liverpool crime series by Luca Veste. Former detective Mark Fletcher was once celebrated for helping capture a serial killer, but his reputation collapses when he is accused of ties to a powerful Liverpool crime family. Already disgraced and struggling, he wakes up in a hotel room beside a dead body, with no memory of how he got there. As the evidence points towards his guilt, Fletcher becomes a fugitive, forced to investigate the crime himself while evading the police. In searching for the truth, he uncovers a conspiracy involving people determined to ensure he never clears his name. Liar Liar will be released on June 4th. The Traitor Within is the first in a new epic fantasy series by Peter Wacht. Ari Blockguard serves with the Sentinels of Scaffa Falls, an order tasked with guarding the barrier between the mortal world and the spirit world, where an ancient and destructive force remains imprisoned. As increasing numbers of supernatural creatures break through weakening defenses, Ari faces a growing threat that could endanger all the realms. While battling monsters and investigating the source of the corruption, he must also confront betrayal within his own circle and make difficult choices that could jeopardize both his family and his place among the Sentinels. The story combines epic fantasy, magic, and the themes of duty, loyalty, and sacrifice. The Traitor Within will be released on June 3rd. This week's nonfiction book is How Not to Save the World, Doing Good Without Annoying Everyone. How Not to Save the World is a book about doing good for anyone who has looked at politics or public discourse and thought, we need better than this. The fervor that drives us to change the world can create blind spots where we don't see our own behavior or disregard it because the cause is urgent. Realistic, candid, and hopeful, How Not to Save the World is a sympathetic exploration of alternatives to righteousness, purity traps, and other unhelpful habits. It shows that there are ways to work together for what matters without alienating the people we need to convince. How Not to Save the World will be released on June 4th. Hunger and Thirst is a novel of complicated friendship and the desperate need to belong by Claire Fuller. The novel follows Ursula across two timelines. In 1987, after a difficult childhood spent in and out of foster care, 16-year-old Ursula finds belonging among a group of young squatters living in a house with a dark history. Eager for acceptance, she becomes involved in increasingly troubling situations, encouraged by her charismatic friend Sue, leading to consequences that haunt her for decades. 36 years later, Ursula is a successful but reclusive sculptor living under an assumed identity in London. When a true crime filmmaker investigating a long unsolved disappearance exposes her past, long buried secrets begin resurfacing. As old events catch up with her, Ursula must confront both the choices she made as a teenager and the possibility that the dangers surrounding her may be either supernatural, psychological, or both. Hunger and Thirst will be released on June 2nd. Finally, we have Crazy Scripted Love by Elizabeth Drummond. Lucy, an ambitious assistant, hoping to become a film producer, gets a career-changing opportunity to travel to New York and work on a major movie script. There, she clashes with Elliot, a talented but under-recognized writer who sees the project as his chance to break into directing. Forced to collaborate under pressure, the two spend long hours revising the screenplay, and their professional rivalry gradually develops into mutual attraction. As their careers and relationship become increasingly intertwined, they must decide whether they can overcome personal and professional obstacles to build a future together. Crazy Scripted Love will be released on June 4th. That's our 10 books for this week. Until next time, you can check out booknotification.com. Book Notification offers an easy way to track your reading list, follow your favorite authors, and never miss a new release. Our website is completely free to use, and it's packed with features to make your reading life easier. You can follow your favorite authors and get notified whenever they release new books. We send out an email every Tuesday with a list of fresh releases from the authors you love, but that's not all. You can track your reading progress, mark books as read, rate and review them, and even import your data from Goodreads, Calibre, Libby, and more. Want to discover something new? Check out Reader's Roulette for book recommendations, or use our personalized book release calendar to stay up to date with the latest titles. You can even tag books with custom labels, just like on Goodreads shelves, and get tailored recommendations for what to read next based on your current book. Whether you're looking for books in publication or want to see them listed in chronological order, we've got it covered. Plus, all of our authors are audited by real people, so you know the information is accurate. So why not give it a try and join the thousands of readers already using our site to stay on top of their reading game. Thank you for listening, and I'll be back next week with another 10 books.